Elon Musk is at it again, and this time, he claims he's about to revolutionize not just cars, not just space travel, but the very air we breathe. That's right, folks. The man who brought us electric supercars and reusable rockets says he's unveiling a new air engine that could change the world as we know it. This innovation is poised to eclipse traditional electric and internal combustion vehicles, heralding what might be the most significant advancement in automotive technology in recent decades. This new engine is anticipated to catapult us into a new era of transportation that is entirely eco-friendly. With the automotive community buzzing, let's gear up to delve deep into this thrilling development as Tesla's CEO gears up for a revelation that promises to radically transform the automotive world. What exactly is this game-changing technology stirring up the automotive sector? For years, Tesla has been diligently exploring viable alternatives to conventional electric vehicles' air technology. While this technology is not entirely novel, having powered mine locomotives and urban trams in 19th-century European cities such as Paris, its potential had not been fully harnessed until recently. Historically, compressed air was overlooked, as the burgeoning automotive industry favored the more robust internal combustion engines known for their raw power and reliability. However, the landscape began to shift in the early 2010s, when the French automotive manufacturer Peugeot revisited this old technology. They ingeniously integrated compressed air with internal combustion engines, creating a hybrid system that combined the best of both worlds: the power of gasoline engines and the environmental benefits of emission-free propulsion. This hybrid system was particularly notable for maintaining the eco-friendliness of traditional hybrids, while eliminating the reliance on heavy, resource-intensive batteries. This pioneering approach rekindled interest in compressed air technologies and demonstrated their potential in modern applications. Tesla, always at the forefront of innovation, the company saw an opportunity to lead a radical shift in vehicle propulsion, moving away from sole dependence on electric batteries and exploring more sustainable, efficient alternatives. This aligns with Tesla's broader mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. By adopting and refining compressed air technology, Tesla is not just expanding its technological repertoire, but also reinforcing its commitment to environmental stewardship. So, while the initial prototypes of compressed air vehicles didn't quite make it out of the lab, they certainly did more than just spark some curiosity that could completely shake up the auto market. Tesla, ever the trailblazer, saw the untapped potential of compressed air to maybe, just maybe, give the old guard of combustion engines and even modern electric vehicles a run for their money. But they knew it wasn't going to be easy. Compressed air tech still needed a lot of tweaking and fine-tuning to truly go toe-to-toe with the big boys of the automotive world. In true Tesla style, they didn't just sit back. Nope. They rolled up their sleeves and dove headfirst into a strategic initiative aimed at developing this promising technology. This wasn't just about adding another cool move to diversify the kinds of engines that could one day propel us all. By integrating the development of compressed air technology with their ongoing innovations in both electric and combustion engines, Tesla sent a clear message. They're all in on pushing the boundaries of what's possible in automotive propulsion. All right, let's get down to the brass tacks. How do these compressed air vehicles actually work? Trust me, it's pretty cool. We're talking about a complete overhaul of the traditional engine setup. Instead of the usual piston-driven hustle or the hum of an electric motor, compressed air vehicles rock a pneumatic engine. Yep, that's engines powered by nothing but air. Here's the scoop. Mechanically, these pneumatic engines are kind of like distant cousins to the internal combustion engines. Both use pistons, but that's where the family resemblance ends. In compressed air engines, there's no combustion of fuel. No sir, it's all about air pressure. Air gets pumped into a chamber, and as the pressure builds up, it pushes the piston all the way out. Then, when the air's let out, a spring connected to the piston pulls it back to where it started. A full cycle done and dusted, ready to go again. This back and forth dance of air and pistons isn't just neat. It's pointing the way toward a new era in how vehicles might be powered in the future. And who's leading the charge? Tesla, of course, with their knack for turning the improbable into the possible. By exploring this technology, they're not just tinkering around. They're paving the way for a future where our rides are greener, cleaner, and just downright cooler. As Tesla continues to push the boundaries of automotive technology, it's essential to understand the specific advantages that compressed air technology brings to the table over traditional electric vehicles, EVs, and internal combustion engines, ICEs. The standout attribute of compressed air technology is undoubtedly its exceptional environmental credentials. This technology operates with zero emissions, relying solely on pressurized air for power, which means it doesn't contribute to air pollution or harm the environment during its operation. Compelling reasons to consider compressed air technology lies in its production process. Unlike the manufacturing of electric vehicles, which often requires rare earth materials for batteries and electric motors, compressed air engines are simpler and more cost-effective to produce. These materials not only are expensive, but also pose significant environmental and ethical challenges during mining and processing. By eliminating the need for such materials, compressed air technology offers a less resource-intensive and more sustainable manufacturing solution. Moreover, while electric vehicles are celebrated for their green credentials, the reality is that the electricity used to charge their batteries often comes from grids that are still heavily reliant on fossil fuels. Bits of EVs. In contrast, compressed air systems do not rely on an external power source that might be tainted by non-renewable energy, providing a genuinely clean operation from start to finish. Despite their innovative allure, compressed air engines come with their own set of challenges. One of the most significant hurdles is their relatively low power output. Compressed air simply doesn't pack the same punch as traditional fuels in terms of energy density. This limitation leads to engines that tend to be underpowered and lack the torque needed for many of today's demanding applications. Imagine trying to climb a steep hill or accelerate quickly on a highway. It's here that compressed air engines might find themselves huffing and puffing a bit. Furthermore, the very mechanics of these engines introduce additional complexities. Operating at high RPMs is a necessity for compressed air engines to function effectively, but this can lead to quicker wear and tear on their components. Think of it as running a sprint over and over, all day long. It's tough on any machine. Another technical snag is the lubrication system. Unlike traditional engines that use liquids such as oil to keep everything running smoothly, compressed air engines operate dry. This means they need specialized solutions to reduce friction and prevent parts from wearing out prematurely, which isn't a simple fix. Compressed air technology. But here's where Tesla's spirit of innovation enters the scene. With their continuous push towards refining and perfecting this technology, there's a genuine potential to overcome these hurdles. Tesla's commitment to innovation might just pave the way for these eco-friendly engines to become more viable for widespread use in the automotive sector, making them not only a novelty, but a new norm. So, what's the ETA on Tesla rolling out this groundbreaking compressed air technology? Well, pinning down a specific timeline can be tricky, but the prospects look promising. Within the next few years, we could very well see these engines moving from prototype to production. Tesla isn't just dabbling in these technologies, they're pouring substantial resources into them. Their dedicated efforts are solving the current technical puzzles, but also about reimagining what the automotive landscape could look like. By leveraging the mechanical principles common to both compressed air and traditional internal combustion engines, Tesla can accelerate the development of these new engines. This isn't just about making a different type of engine, it's about making a better one, more sustainable, more efficient, and more in line with the future we're all driving towards. If Tesla can pull this off, we might soon witness a shift in automotive engineering that could make the cars of tomorrow cleaner, quieter, and more environmentally friendly than ever before. Keep your eyes on the road ahead. Tesla's innovations could soon change the way we all drive. While Tesla's advancements are promising, it's important to note that they are not the first to explore compressed air in automotive applications. About a decade ago, Peugeot experimented with a hybrid version of their Peugeot 2008. Results, Peugeot unexpectedly discontinued the project, citing lack of profitability, a decision that puzzled industry observers. This historical precedent serves as a reminder of the complex interplay between innovation, market forces, and corporate strategy in the automotive industry. The abrupt termination of Tesla's compressed air project raises questions about potential external pressures. One prevailing theory suggests that major oil companies may have influenced the decision. This theory isn't baseless. History provides similar examples where disruptive technologies threatened established industries. For instance, in the mid-90s, inventor Stanley Allen Myers using only water. Upon publicizing his invention, Meyer faced intense pressure from oil companies urging him to abandon his project and declare it a fraud. Meyer persisted, but his efforts ended tragically when he suddenly died under mysterious circumstances after claiming he was poisoned. Subsequently, His prototype and research materials disappeared without a trace. Yet they underscore a harsh reality: the lengths to which entrenched interests might go to protect their stakes. For companies like Tesla venturing into technologies like compressed air engines, this history serves as a cautionary tale.
We really are on the edge of probably the biggest technology revolution that has ever existed.
The advent of some chance that it'll end humanity.
Elon's blown away by how fast artificial intelligence is evolving these days. Makes you wonder about the big changes it's bringing. Are we ready for the AI revolution?
What I'm seeing in terms of AI compute is I've never seen any technology advance faster than this. The artificial intelligence compute coming online appears to be increasing by a factor of 10 every 6 months. Like, obviously that cannot continue at such a high rate for forever, or it will exceed the mass of the universe.
Elon's breaking down why video platforms are worth so much these days.
Best neural net chips. I mean, I think didn't NVIDIA's market cap exceed the GDP of Canada or something recently? Anyway, it was quite high. So, yeah, you know, it may go higher, who knows?
The chip rush is like the new gold rush, and humanoid robots are just one crazy example. Makes you think about how much tech's changing our world, right? Are we in the middle of a race for tech dominance, and what's it going to mean for us and our robots?
The chip rush is bigger than any gold rush that has ever existed. So, and then there will also be robots, like humanoid robots, not just sort of industrial robots we are of course familiar with. You use industrial robots, we use industrial robots, everyone does. But they are programmed explicitly, and they don't walk around. But Tesla, for example, with the Optimus program, is making a humanoid robot that is capable of doing.
Elon's convinced.
I just hope the robots are nice to us. The plus side of AI is that I think productivity will increase dramatically. So across every field, whether it be manual labor to supply chain logistics, there's already a lot of movement to use chatbots, like sophisticated chatbots for customer service, for example, where they can answer quite complex questions already.
Elon's like, we're in the craziest times with AI. Could be awesome, or it could be the end of the world. What can we do about it?
But I mean, I think, you know, there's supposedly a sort of a Chinese curse, may you live in interesting. Will they take over? Will we be useless? But then the way that I reconciled myself to this question was, would I rather be alive to see an AI apocalypse or not? And I'm like, I guess I'd like to see it.
It's called the singularity for a reason. As you know, the Singularity Institute. So I think there's some chance that it'll end humanity. I think that's, like I said, I would probably agree with Jeff Hinton that it's about, I don't know, 10% or 20% or something like that. And then I think that the probable positive scenario outweighs the negative scenario. It's just that it's difficult to predict exactly.
Elon's giving us the lowdown on how to make AI safe, saying it's like raising a kid. We must be ready for the responsibility.
But I think we are headed for, as I think is the title of your book, we can have an outcome that is perhaps similar to the Ian Banks culture books, which is, I think, probably the best envisioning of a semi-utopian AI future. And I think the best we can do is it's definitely going to happen. So, and it's happening fast. So that I think that really we just want to try to steer it in as positive a direction as possible to try to do whatever we can to increase the probability of a great future. For this, I think the way in which sort of an AI or an AGI is created, and it matters kind of like how you raise the kid, One of the things I think that's incredibly important for AI safety is to have a maximum sort of truth-seeking and curious AI. So I've thought a lot about AI safety, and my ultimate conclusion is that the best way to achieve AI safety is to just grow the AI in terms of the foundation model and the fine tuning, to be really truthful. Like don't force it to lie.
Elon says, we can't let AI start fibbing or it's going to be a mess. Makes us wonder, are we ready for AI to have that kind of power? And how do we keep it honest?
It's very important. Don't make the AI lie. In fact, the sort of one of the core plot premise of 2001: A Space Odyssey was things went wrong when they forced the AI to lie. Like the AI was not allowed to let the crew know about the monolith that they were going to see, but it was also had to take the crew to the monolith. And so the conclusion of the AI was to kill the crew and take their bodies to the monolith. Force an AI to lie or do things that are axiomatically incompatible, like to do two things that are actually mutually impossible. When things are changing rapidly, the ability to predict the future, I think, becomes a lot harder because the rate of change is so great. But I think some things are fairly obvious to predict, which is that we'll have AI or AGI that's at a level that it can really do almost any cognitive, I think really not almost, really any cognitive task. It's just a question of when. One could debate, is it, smarter than any human at the end of next year, or is it 5 years? That's for sure.
Elon predicts that AI will outstrip humans in 2 or 3 years, and even brainy folks might start relying on it.
There's so much happening in it. AI is the fastest advancing technology I've ever seen of any kind, and I've seen a lot of technology. Barely a week goes by without some new announcement. So, and if you look at the amount of AI hardware, the computers coming online that are dedicated to AI, that is every 6 to 9 months. So when you combine the hardware coming online, really order of magnitude increase every, call it at least every 9 months, and many software breakthroughs. If you look at that curve, it looks insane. So I think my guess is that we'll have AI that is smarter than any one human, probably around the end of next year. And then AI, the total amount of sort of sentient compute of AI, I think will probably exceed all humans in 5 years. Last year it was chip constrained, and the hardware deployment, to break it down into the 3 areas of people, data, and hardware. Starting with hardware. Last year it was about a chip supply. People could not get enough NVIDIA chips. Very niche joke is transformers for transformers, because a lot of the AI that's run is called a transformer. You need transformers to run transformers. And then next, if you look out a year or 2, or certainly 3 years, it's just electricity availability. So those are those constraints on the hardware side. So many of the world's smartest people are doing AI. People that would have done physics before, in fact, or have done physics, for example, have moved into AI because it's just the fastest moving field. So we're seeing a lot of the best talent, a lot of the smartest humans going into AI.
Elon's sounding the alarm about some serious trouble ahead, pointing to Google Gemini as a prime example. Are we ready for AI to have that much power, especially when it comes to politics?
Then you start hitting the wall with the data problem. So you can fit all books ever written, just the text in compressed form on one hard drive, or we'll call it one computer. So when you're looking at like tokens to train on, because you still think of like all the books ever written in all languages by all humans, sounds like a lot. Certainly, it's far more than any one human could ever read. It actually is a small it's a small number of training tokens. It's just not enough created. All the podcasts, all the everything, and you start even running out of data there. Well, it depends on how you define AGI. If you define AGI as smarter than the smartest human, I think it's probably end of next year, like within 2 years. But there's still a pretty big leap beyond that to say smarter than the machine augmented human collective. So is it smarter than all humans working together who are also using computers to augment their output? And that I think is probably 5 years away. One way to look at it is to try to assess roughly what is the ratio. So biological computer, all the human brains that are thinking. Well, I think we probably do need some sort of regulatory authority to look at the safety of AI, just as we have regulatory authorities in other arenas to oversee aircraft and
the safety of aircraft and cars and other things, medication. So the rate at which AI is progressing is faster than probably any regulatory agency. But I do have a comment on what I think is very important for achieving safe AI, which is that it's very important to train the AI to be as truthful as possible and not to, just to be as truthful as possible. I think you can get some very dangerous things when you program an AI to be politically correct. Things that may seem relatively innocuous now, but will not be so in the future if AI has immense power. You can take the Google Gemini example, where it refused to produce a picture of George Washington as a white man. And any historical figure would automatically be made diverse because it's been programmed to insist on diversity, which sounds, perhaps okay at first, but not if the AI has so much power that it can actually enforce diversity and decide there's too many of one kind of people and kill off just kill off enough until the diversity number is what it's programmed to believe is correct.
Elon laid out the different paths AI could take, and he's pretty sure every country's going to take it seriously.
And this is admittedly somewhat of a, Hail Mary shot or whatever, is that if you can improve the bandwidth between your digital tertiary self, then you can achieve better cohesion between what humans want and what AI does. At least that's one theory. I'm not saying this is a sure thing. It's just one potential iron in the fire. If ultimately, hundreds of millions or billions of people get a high bandwidth interface to their self, their AI self effectively, then that seems like that probably leads to a better future for humanity. If we had a long merit to AI regulation and immediately took action in this regard. So sometimes we'll get this comment of like, well, if the West does AI regulation, surely then what if China doesn't and then leaps ahead? And I think they're also taking it the opposite of whatever moral constraints you program into the system. If we had a long discussion, agreed that there's merit to AI regulation and immediately took action in this regard. So sometimes we'll get this comment of like, well, if the West does AI regulation, surely then what if China doesn't and then leaps ahead? And I think because, the opposite of whatever moral constraints you program into the system.
I would prefer to, personally, I would prefer to live in interesting times. And we live in the most interesting of times. I think, for a while there, I was like really getting demotivated and losing sleep over AI danger. And then I finally sort of became fatalistic about it and said, well, even if I knew it was certain, would I choose to be alive at that time or not? And I said I probably would choose to be alive at that time. Most interesting thing, even if there's nothing I could do about it. I would prefer to, personally, I would prefer to live in interesting times, and we live in the most interesting of times. I think, for a while there, I was like really getting demotivated and losing sleep over the threat of AI danger, and then I finally sort of became fatalistic about it and said, well, even if I knew it was certain, would I choose to be alive at that time?